Welcome back to another episode of Jason's Bricks and 5, where I discuss LEGO content in videos of around 5 minutes. Well, today I have a follow-up video to some questions that I had about one of my recent videos. I recently added this park to my city, and these trees, which I'm really happy with how they turned out, and I had a number of people ask me, the technique I used in getting those trees, because well, maybe they thought they looked bad, maybe they thought they looked good, and they don't want to, maybe they want to do it, maybe they don't, I don't know. But I thought I would take a few minutes and show you how I made these trees. It's only out of, I think, 4 or 5 different parts, so I'll grab one here, and I'll show you how we made these. Okay, so the first thing that you do to build your tree is, of course, the trunk. This one is pretty simple. There's other techniques you can use if you want, more interesting or complex. But just probably the simplest and easiest is just these 2x2 round pieces. You can make this, 6, 7 high, whatever. This one's 6, but that's what I chose to start with here. And then from there, you're going to start with a smaller branch piece. And the reason I go with a smaller branch piece is because it won't stick out quite as far to start with, and then you move to wider branches. So it'll give kind of a flowing feel as you go up the tree. And you'll just stick these on here like this. Now before we do that, I'm going to show you the tip that makes your tree look fuller is if you add these leaf pieces on there. So I'll start with one of these and 4 of these individual leaf pieces. And I'll put 3 on each of the major ones on the outside. So you can see it would be like this. And then underneath, I just put 1 on that front piece. And then you'll just stick them on there like that. And it's pretty simple because you just create those and fill each of those that way. So once you get the first layer of branches placed, you're going to take another trunk piece and put this here. Now you can use square once you get inside the tree because it's not as visible and it actually does hold better. But for the main trunk that's exposed, I don't use the square ones, I use the round. And then you're going to use the larger branch pieces. And you're going to start by putting the leaves on the outside and just cover them this way. You'll want to make sure you leave one that is not covered because you're going to use that to stick in here. And I'll show you some finished ones here. So for example, you'll build it out so that it will end up looking like this. You'll see this is the part that I'm going to have attached to the trunk down here. And you place a few on the bottom, but mostly on the top. And you'll see we'll just create multiple like that. And you can also use the branches differently. Like you can see this one is more at the end point than at one of the sides. And you'll just start sticking those on here like this. Now one thing I will show you is based on how you place them on the branch, you can see these stick out a little bit further than these. And so if you alternate them, it gives you a little bit more natural look because it doesn't make your tree completely square or completely rounded. You'll put those in there and add another layer like so. And you see we're starting to take some shape here. And the nice thing about these is they hinge just a little bit, so you can swing them around a little bit to kind of make it look how you like. And then we just keep stacking layers from there. In addition to these 2x2 round bricks, there's this piece here that you can use. It's not quite as common, but it does help provide a little bit of different depth because they stick out a little bit further, plus the branches do stay in place a little bit better. So you'll just stick them on there like so, and you'll see how those kind of stick out a little bit different. You want to make sure you push them down though, because it does, you want to make sure you try to fill in those gaps a bit. So So another tip to help add stability to your tree, you can put one of these rods through there. Now the longer the rod, the better, because it's going to go through more of the trunk pieces. But that kind of helps hold those together a little bit better along through the trunk. So if you add a few in there, it'll work better. If you have, a really long one, it can really cover quite a bit. Now for the top of the tree, what I typically do is just try to come up with some way to kind of blend it in and round it off. So here what I've done is I've taken one of the larger ones and I've attached some of these smaller branches underneath, so it kind of comes out a little bit. That'll help kind of hide that top. And I've used these little branch pieces, pull one off here and show you, to make sure that those stay connected. And you just run that through and it hides in there really well and makes sure that those two branch pieces stick together. So it works quite well for that. So now we will go ahead and just place this here. Kind of try to center this in that middle spot. See it there? We'll rotate that around the bird so the bird is not covered. At least not too bad. And if you don't like how that's placed, you can always rotate it the other way. So like that works a little bit better with the bird. So there you have it. There's our tree. And I would recommend you try not to make them all exactly the same, because it looks a little more natural. And, just bend them and kind of rotate them as you see fit to make it look like it's an actual tree. So, but there you go. Now, if you don't want as large of a tree, you can use all the small branches and use the same technique, and you can see you get a much smaller tree, but you still get that full effect. So that is how you can make a tree for your own city. I'm real happy with how they turn out. It is pretty part intensive with all of those leaves and branches, but I think it does make a huge difference to get those added in there. So something you're looking to do, watch the Pick a Brick wall if you have a local Lego store, and you should be able to get a number of those leaf pieces to build your own tree. So hopefully you can get that added to your city. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Jason's Bricks and 5. Happy building!